What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez. I am back. We are back with another NBA player prop live stream. We're talking prize picks here today. Always open to talking about other pick'em sites. You just got to let me know. But prize picks is what we specifically focus on, being that is the kind of like the main pick'em site, not the only pick'em site. I do encourage everyone to play on different sites. Lines are not always the same, especially on days like today where we only got 3 games going on in the NBA. A lot of different lines out there. Prize Picks does not hold the best lines, so I encourage you, play around, look around, play around in pick'em sites. Don't play around in your relationships. Stick to that one person in your relationship. Don't apply the same logic to your partner. Pick'em sites a lot different. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. Hope this hope this live stream finds you all doing well and in good spirits. Today is Thursday, February 15th, 2024. My God, it seems like we just crossed the new year and it's already halfway through the second month of the new year. Time flies. Make sure you're taking advantage of it and doing all the shit you want to do. I already see in the chat we got a turd up on the board already. We're gonna get to our turds of the day. We're gonna talk about some player props. 3 games on the slate, so I think what we can do today is just take it game by game. We'll take our time with these games. We'll go through as many player props as the board allows us to go through, and then we'll move on to the next game. Once we're done with that game, we're just moving on, and hopefully we can get a few player prop questions. Hopefully this information helps you build out a slip or two and helps you profit at the end of the night. What's going on, Carrie? Good morning. ROK, good morning to you. Marcus, what is going on? Good morning. Big Icy, good morning. Top of the morning. Let's get this money. 6 for 6 last night. 5 for 6 last night. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Marcus, you're in the Discord, right? Did you you shared this information on my channel, correct? Unless another Discord member has the exact same results as you. All right, that was you. All right, cool. All right, yeah, man, congrats. That's dope. 6 for 6, 5 for 6. That's awesome. Congrats. Look, it's not easy going 6 for 6. Bet Nas dad. All right. Yeah, it is not easy going 6 for 6. It's not easy going 5 for 6. You know, let alone going 6 for 6. Anytime you go 6 for 6, you made some really good reads. That should build a ton of confidence, helping you build better slips moving forward. That shit feels good. Awesome job. JR, what is going on? Good morning. Jet Set, what is up? Travis, Duarte, good morning. Got him, coach. Remember, starters not playing regular minutes. Yeah, I got to keep that in mind. Looks like the Atlanta Hawks checked out real early last night. 1-2-3 Cancun for a lot of those fools, the ones that aren't going to the All-Star weekend festivities, but they forgot to show up. What a terrible game. Speaking of terribleness, let's get into our turds of the day. We're just going to get into our turds of the day. I definitely second that. Trae Young are okay. He was probably my turd. Biggest turd of the day we talked about yesterday. We thought he was in a good spot against the Charlotte Hornets. No way the Hawks lose to the Hornets heading into All-Star break. No way that happens. And it happened. Trey yesterday, though, it was Trey Man. Trey Man was the Trey of the day. Ice Trey was definitely ice cold. Trey Man was the man. Oh, it was a lot of There's a lot of puns in there. You can just keep going on and on and on with the trays. But anyway, Trey Mann was the man. If you played his points, rebounds, assist, PRA, fantasy points, you nailed it. Maybe even his 3-pointers, you nailed it with him. But Trae Young, definitely probably one of the biggest turds of the day. No doubt. No doubt. Jim the Judge, what is going on? Good morning. Hawks as a unit, major turds. Bird turds. Bird turds for the Atlanta Hawks. Oh my God. ROK says I hit a 5-leg parlay for $30. Bet 2. Nice. Profit. Profit is profit. All dunks prop went over last night. Speaking of dunks, did Jalen Johnson get his dunks? I know he got one dunk for sure. We talked about the alley-oop connection between he and Trae Young. I know Trae Young failed us in terms of points and PRA, but I want to say that his assists were not that far off from what we usually get out of him. 12 assists. So 12 points and 12 assists for Trae Young yesterday. So few of those assists went to Jalen Johnson. I know, but how many dunks did Jalen Johnson end the night with? He ended with 19 points and 12 boards. That was a pretty good game for him. Nikola Vucevic, what's going on, Mel? Good morning. Yeah, you know what? With this guy, Vucevic, real quick. Andre Drummond started yesterday. I guess they were trying to match the Twin Towers, versus Cleveland big on big. But when Drummond is in the lineup with Vucevic, it really, really kills his upside. I mean, Vucevic ended the game with 8 rebounds. He didn't even hit his Goblin rebounding prop at 8.5. So I guess we got to figure out, moving forward, if Drummond is going to be in the lineup with Vooch, those might be days where we just really play the under on Vucevic's PR, because his upside is not going to be there. And if you want to take the under on his PRA, it's hard for me to think that he can get that PRA with just points and assists. So yeah, Vucevic kind of let a few people down. That was pretty shitty. Ramo, good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Cutler, good morning. What is going on? Last night, 8-man slip on Dabble, hit for 100x, had another 3, missed by 1. Wait, you had an 8-man that hit for 100x? Your 8-man hit for 100x yesterday, and then you had 3 slips, missed by 1. What was the total profit on that 100x? Holy shit, that's nice. That's nice. Turd of the day goes to Nick Richards. 7 feet for what? 7 feet of pure disappointment. That's what that is. 7 feet of pure agony and tilt is what Nick Richards is. That's what he brings to the table. I don't know if y'all have seen the movie Office Space, the scene where the 2 Bobs are going through the firings and they bring in Tom Wachowski and they ask him, what would you say you do here, Tom? So like that scene is like, bang, that's Nick Richards yesterday. What would you say you do here, Nick? What do you do? Shy, good morning. Welcome in. Chat is filling up. Hit that like button on your way in, everybody. It means a ton. You already know how it helps the channel grow. You guys do a great job of it. Let's keep it going. All right, turds of the day. Trae Young, Nick Richards, Vucevic, the whole Hawks organization. Throw them in that. Travis says, Dabble been treating me good lately. Keep it going. Great example of we talk about different player prop sites. Prize Picks is a great one to start with, honestly, because it does offer you so much. But as you get more into this industry, you start to realize that there are different lines out there for you to take advantage of. And it seems like Dabble is really helping a lot of people grow their bankroll. Shit, you can even take the money you make on other pick'em sites and withdraw and play it on Prize Picks if you really feel like Prize Picks is that good. But that money earned on other sites, it's a real thing. So make sure you're playing on a couple different pick'em sites. It's okay to cheat on Prize Picks. Don't cheat on your partner. Don't end up on the people's court. All right, NBA plays for today. I like DeAndre Ayton today. We're gonna get into a couple of his props that I like. I also like a few of I like a few unders today, to be honest with you. And we'll go over those on props.cash. But I quickly just want to recap a couple of slips that I did put in the player prop Discord. This one I'm a little pissed off about because afternoon video yesterday I talked about Dante DiVincenzo's rebound prop. Took the over on this Tatum Cam Thomas assist prop. I feel like there is no doubt in my mind that if DiVincenzo would have played yesterday, he would have grabbed us those 5 boards. And unfortunately, it never came true. Jason Tatum hit this by himself. 9 assists for Jason Tatum, 2 assists for Cam Thomas. So if you ended up seeing that slip, you got your money back, but you did have enough time to take that Tatum and Cam Thomas combo and put it in another slip. So hopefully that worked out for you. And then Ivica Zubac down there at the bottom comes through with 16 points and assists. You also could have taken the over on his points. And at the beginning of the day, I did really like the outlook for Denny Avdia yesterday. And he, as you know, he had a monster game, 70 fantasy points, just huge output for him yesterday. So those are the 2 power plays that I shared in the Discord. They both hit. Now, I did share a couple of flex slips that did not fare so well. Maxey went over his points. Bam goes over his PRA with some fluky shit at the end of the game. Just shit that, you know, what are you going to do? Just a couple of bad outcomes on those flex. But this is why I truly believe that power plays are a great bankroll builder. So even on nights when your flexes don't hit, you should still be profiting something if your 2 picks are hitting. So that's a great way to still walk away with a little extra cash in your account. But those are the 2 slips that I shared yesterday. If you ended up tailing the Zubac pick or even the Tatum combo, it didn't work out for you. Moving into today's plays, as you know, if you are new to the channel, props.cash, big partner of the channel. I research everything with props.cash. You get to see the work in real time on the live stream. So if you are considering signing up, sign up using my promo code right there on the screen, 25% off your first month. If you have reservations, if you don't know what this is, if you don't know who the hell I am, why would you listen to me? Stick around for a few minutes, watch me work with the props.cash website. And after that, you can say, oh, that's pretty cool shit. I think I want to try it out. All right. Enough promotional talk. Let's get into today's board. Like I said, we got 3 games on the slate today. There's not a whole lot of player props on the board just because of the amount of games we have, but there are props on the board for each game. So each game is represented on Prize Picks. I thought what we can do is take a game-by-game approach and just kind of figure out, you know, what's standing out to us on this 3-game slate. Days like this, super important to have additional pick'em sites that you can play on because Prize Picks lines have already been adjusted. Doing my research this morning, noticed that a few of these lines have either been bumped up or they just flat out put them on the board with a higher line. So you won't know those kind of things until you start looking on sites and realize that Prize Picks, you know, lines are not according to the books all the time. What is going on, Jay Graves? Good morning. Mel says, one day, can we just make an all under slip and see what it did? Yeah, man, for sure. We could do that today. I have no problem playing unders. Really, I don't. I've gotten very comfortable playing unders. I used to think that everything was on the over. I used to think the books were always wrong. There's no way this player would go, oh, are you crazy? What, you're thinking take the under? And this. I went through all that and learned very quickly that that unders are a huge part of the business. And I don't know what the percentage is, but more plays go under than over on a daily basis. So unders are definitely there. 50% of your results. I mean, there's only two ways it can go: under or over. It's 50%. So definitely, we can make an all under slip. We make an all under team. I have a channel in the Discord called the Underworld, where try to put your favorite under of the day. It's a little contradicting, like your favorite play. You think of something that's gonna hit, that's gonna like produce, but we're talking about your under, like you're rooting against the player to do well. We don't want players to go out there and have bad games. We just want them to not hit their prop. They can still have a good game. All right. Let's get into some player props. So I mentioned that I liked a couple of unders today. Nice little segue there. I'm not sure if these are on the board still. So I like the under on Kuminga's PRA. We can talk about that. And then I also like a lot of DeAndre Ayton's props today. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, these have been bumped up. Like you're finding DeAndre Ayton's PRA on Jock Market at 25.5. This is at 26 already. His rebounds got bumped up. His PA on Jock Market is 14.5. It's 15.5 on Prize Pick. So 23.5. This got bumped up to 24. The cool thing is with him right now, even though a lot of his numbers are being bumped, they're still favored to go over. So out of all of his plays today, my favorite ones are his blocks and steals. And honestly, I know it's a little bit of a higher number, but I do like his PRA. And I want to talk about those over on props.cash. Another under that I was eyeing, I have not put into a slip. I was eyeing the under on Giannis's points and rebounds. So my logic is kind of what somebody put into the chat already is starters minutes going into the All-Star break are not the same. And this is a game against Memphis. It's possible that Giannis gets you 20 rebounds and assists in like 15 minutes. Maybe that's like a little exaggerated, but in limited run, it's always possible that he puts up a huge game. But if this game goes the way we think it's going to go and the Bucks can handle business, then I do believe that Giannis won't be needed on the floor, much more than 30 minutes. So I'm willing to dig into this under for Giannis today. Otherwise, against Memphis, he's going to eat. But this is a little bit of a different situation. There is no injury news also. So looking at the injury news, the only name that's on the injury report right now is Anthony Edwards, who is questionable. That's going to change. I would not be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised if we see somebody from the Bucks sit tonight. If it's Giannis, if it's Brook Lopez, wouldn't be surprised if we see somebody sit. We'll talk about those over on props.cash. Let me take off this Ayton blocks and steals. We can look at a few different player props for him. All right, so like I said, let's go game by game here. And the first game that's on the schedule for today, the earliest game, is this Bucks and Grizzlies game. So I'm gonna remove Ayton and Kuminga for now, and we'll keep Giannis in there. So let's start talking about some Bucks and Memphis Grizzlies. And listen, we don't have to spend a ton of time on these games if there's not a lot going on. If you just want to skip a team or skip a game, we can just do that. It doesn't have to be forced. Let's see. Jose, good morning to you. All right. Big Icy, you're on the same page as me with his rebounds and assists. All right, cool. Got bumped down. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. Take the under on his PRA. Did y'all see that bump? Jay Graves said Trey to Jalen worked last night. Good morning to you. So he got his. Did he get his dunks? Do you know if he got his 1.5 dunks or we got the over on his dunks? Vince Jesus Ramos, good morning. He said I put Vince and Ayton on the 2-pick. Which Vince Williams play did you put on there? I see. Hey, okay, Vince Williams over assist. I just scrolled up and I see that. So I'm assuming that's what you put on your slip, sitting at 5 assists. All right, cool. Fam man, good morning to you. Top of the morning. How about the over on points? Both ants. Both ants, Anthony Edwards and who's the other ant? Cutler says Dame over points and assists. All right, cool. Let's take a look at Dame. Points and assists. His PRA was 34.5. It got bumped up. So look at that bump happening already. Points and assists should be 30.5, 31.5. There it is right there. All right, I see Jim also. Vince Williams over assists. That's his play of the day. Cool. So if you're just checking this out, if you're just joining the stream, good morning, welcome in. Hit the like button. You can always unhit it on your way out. We're talking, we're going game by game today. 3 games on the schedule. And we're going to go game by game. We're going to go game by game. Currently, right now, we're on the first game on the schedule, which is the Bucks and Grizzlies. And we're only going to be talking about the Bucks and Grizzlies for this part of the stream. So get that play in there. If your play is for a game, one of the other games, just hold on to it. That way it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. But right now we're looking at Bucks and Grizzlies. So far we got Giannis is under. We got we're going to take his rebounds and assists away since that got bumped down. We got Vince on the board. We got Dame on the board. Ah, that ant. That makes sense. That makes sense. ROK says he took the under Giannis's 12.5 rebounds. All right, cool. All right. You like the over on Giannis's points? We got him on the board already. So yeah, I tell you what, like we did yesterday, like we've been doing all week, we'll just take a deeper look into each player over on props.cash. We'll look at multiple player props. That way, if you have your eye on something else, it'll be covered. So make sure you got your ears open. You don't miss that. Paul, what's going on, Mondo? He says, Paul George blew me up by 1 point because he fouled. Did he foul out, really? He fouled. Book got ejected. Did Isaiah still arrested? I saw some shit. I don't know if that's real. He got arrested for punching Drew Eubanks. This was in the game or after the game? What the hell is that about? Oh, Jay Graves said Jalen Johnson covered his dunks in the first quarter. Well, there you go. That was a great call. He got 3 dunks. Okay. Why did Booker only have 7 points? He got ejected. I don't know why he got ejected, but he got ejected. I got the alert on my phone yesterday. All right. So it looks like there's not a lot of love for Memphis today. So let's take these 3 players. We got Dame, Giannis, and Vince. Let's head over. Let's head over to props.cash and let's start looking at all this together. I got my split screen up. So while we're on props.cash, if another prop comes to mind, you can throw that in the chat. Make sure you put the number. So like Bobby Portis over points and rebounds at 20.5, whatever it is. And that way I can compare it to what the lines are over on the other books. But let's get this going. Milwaukee and Memphis. Memphis holding the home court here against Milwaukee. We don't expect a ton of run for the starters. At least I don't know what Doc Rivers has up his sleeves, but this is not a game that I think you need all hands on deck for. But they will play. Starters will play. We just don't know, or we can't predict how long they'll be in the game for. So let's start with Giannis. We got a few unders for him, but I did see an over for his points. Currently, his points are at 29.5 for what I'm seeing. He has gone over this in 2 out of his last 5 games, and he's gone over this in 5 of his last 10 games. His head-to-head games with Memphis, no games this season to speak of. We won't look too deeply into that. Now, he is projected for 27 points today. So that's a little under his line of 29.5. Odds are kind of a coin flip right here. I think this is a little risky. If you want to go over on his points, you can definitely play that. I would throw that in a flex. I wouldn't put that in a power. The only reason it's risky is the potential of a short night, lack of minutes or decrease minutes for Giannis. That's what's this as a little riskier, but that's also what's putting the under in play for a few of his props. So we saw his rebound prop in there at 12.5 on Prize Picks. I believe this got bumped down to 12. It's going to get bumped down to 11.5 at some point. He's only gone over rebound prop 4 games out of the last 10, and that's at 11.5. When we put it up at 12.5, you can see that the hit rates are much worse. Now that it's brought down to 12, over his last 5 games, he has 2 out of his last 5, but still, pushing a prop is not a win. It does keep your slips alive, but it does not give you full payout. So even if he pushes 12, it's not an over. So those are his hit rates with 12 rebounds. We can see that he is projected for right at 12. 11.82 is what he is projected for, which is another good example of why that 0.5 is such a huge part of this, of this prop. Because if he's projected for 12, but you got his line at 12.5 and you played the under, that's saying he can get you 12 and you're still great. But at 12 and he gets you 12, then you're at the push line. So that's where it starts to get a little frustrating, because that 0.5 made all the difference. We also talked about his rebounds and assists, currently projected for 18.34. It's at 19 now. If you played it at 19.5, that's the best line you'll get all day if you're looking for the over. Or excuse me, if you're looking for the under. At 19.5, he only has 2 games out of his last 10 where he's gone over this. Now that it's been bumped down to 19, it does change it slightly because there's a push. At some point, this will get bumped down to 18.5. And then once it gets bumped down to 18.5, your hit rates do get a little better. But his projection today is right around 18. So even at 18.5, I still think that's in play. But keep in mind that you are playing it at the lower line, and it's been adjusted twice by that point. And this is what happens on a small slate. With 3 games, the lines move, and there's really not a whole lot you can do about it unless you're playing on different sites, and you can take advantage of the better lines on other places. Or play on books. If you have access to sports books, that's another option. So since they bumped down Giannis's RA, let's look at his PRA. PRA is at 49.5. That is really high. That's Travis Scott high. So I feel like this isn't a good spot to go under. If you wanted to take the under on something, this is the largest line out of all his props. So he has to get you 50 or more. And he's done that 4 out of his last 10 games, 1 out of his last 2 out of his last 5. Yeah, big icy Travis Scott high. So I think his unders. Now watch Memphis come out here and put on a fucking show and Giannis plays 40 minutes tonight. If something like that happens, there's nothing we can do about that. It's completely out of our control. We can always play that narrative where what if, but like if you're living what if, like you get nothing done. So I'm looking at the facts, I'm looking at the numbers, we're looking at the information as a whole, and the unders look like the way to go for Giannis today, especially since you're getting it at the highest line, and these are going to start coming down at some point because smart people like you are taking the under, and then Prize Picks will start making it more difficult to take the under and they'll drop it. But you already got it at the best line, so you're good. So yeah, Giannis is in a spot to go under a lot of his props today. If you feel iffy about this, if you feel like, man, I don't like taking that, then honestly, I would just stay away from it. Just like with Sabonis, you either take the Sabonis overs or you just stay away from it. Playing the under on Sabonis is a little scary. Although I think yesterday he did not have a triple-double, which, unless I'm wrong, he had 30 points and 8 boards. And no, that's De'Aaron Fox. 20 points, 13 boards, and 7 assists. So that was actually a bad game for him. If you took the under on Sabonis yesterday, it finally worked out. All right, enough about Giannis. We like his unders, PRA, RA, rebounds, and points. But if you want to take the over on his points, I think it's a little risky at 29.5. All right, let's talk about Damian Lillard. His PRA was in a good spot, I thought, at 34.5 for an over. Now I got bumped up to 35. One game last season as a Blazer, he went for 60 against Memphis. That's irrelevant. So over his last 10, 4 out of his last 10, and then over his last 5, 2 out of his last 5. Maybe you're thinking, doesn't the same logic apply to Damian Lillard if this game gets out of hand, the starters rest? I think, yeah, to an extent, yes. But I think Giannis, more importantly, I think Giannis is the one that sees the least. I think he's impacted the most by a situation like that. Or I can definitely see Lillard firing away, up by 15, up by 20. At least I hope. Because I did like his PRA. Now it's bumped up to 35. His projections don't look all that great. But let's just focus on the game logs here. Let's focus on what is in front of us. Projections are a guide. They're never the gospel. Over his last 5 games, Dame has hit the over on this 2 out of 5. And then over his last 10, he's hit the over on this in 50%. No, that's 60% of his games. Charlotte, Dallas, Portland. Portland's another team. We talk about bad teams. Portland's a pretty bad team. And I know it's a revenge game for him. But 32 points isn't like a crazy number. He didn't go off against Portland. He just had a good game against Portland. I think a similar outcome is in play for him tonight, in that 31 to 32 range in his points and assists. Was there anything else for Dame? Possibly his, what's on the board for him? It's just PRA. It's his points. It's his assist at 6. If you really rebounds and assists are at 10. If you really wanted to kind of lock in value or lock in profit, I'm not saying it's a lock or a slam dunk, but look at his goblin assist at 4.5. If today is a day where you don't really feel confident about a lot of plays, maybe you look to take a lower payout, but at least you're locking in profit, and take some of these goblins and throw them into a slip and, 2x, 2x your 2 picks instead of a 3x. So his goblins are at 4.5. He's obviously gone over 4.5 in every single game dating back to January 27th. His rebounds and assists, those are at 10 right now on Prize Picks. 10.5. If these get bumped up to 10.5, then we can definitely see his points and assists get bumped up. But this one is already getting really, really heavy juice to the under. So if people are playing the under on this one, then it gets bumped down. But we saw it on Prize Picks at 10. It opened up at 9.5, so it's bumping up, not bumping down. People were hammering the over on this one at 9.5. That's a really strong line for him. At 9.5, it was getting basically minus 140 odds on all the other books. Now that it's at 10, I don't know what the odds are, but at 10, it's showing you that people are playing the over on this. So I wouldn't be surprised to see his points and assists get bumped up at some point. But I think, honestly, if you're looking at unders on Giannis, I would be looking at over on points for Dame. Anything with like the points and assists, PRA, or just plain points. Because if Giannis isn't scoring a lot, who the fuck is Dame facilitating to? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who is on the receiving end of his passes? So I think the upside for Dame is with his points. I would probably stay away from his rebounds and assists. But his goblin assists look great. 4.5, he can do that in his sleep. All right, let's look at, speaking of assists, let's take a look at Vince Williams' assist. And as far as I can see, I think that is the only other play from this game. And then we'll just gladly move on to the next game, which is the Warriors and Jazz. So if you have Warriors and Jazz props, you can throw them in the chat. If you already threw it in the chat, throw it again. That way I don't have to scroll all the way back up. But Vince Williams assists, we are seeing those over on Prize Picks at 5. So you're getting this already at a lower line. So at 5, Vince Williams is, well, no other book has this at 5. So this is going to get bumped up. This is going to get bumped up to 5.5. Big time. And at 5.5, people will start playing the under, and then it'll come back down to 5. But 4 straight games of over 5, and then 5 straight games of 5 or more. So there's a push, and then there's 4 overs. Crushing this line in every single one of these games. It's the exact opposite for Vince Williams in terms of minutes, because with the Bucks, we can talk about the start fewer minutes in a game that gets out of hand, but it's Vince Williams is going to get locked into 30 plus minutes no matter what happens. In the event this game stays competitive, then we're kind of fucked on the unders with Giannis, but we at least know that Vince Williams is going to be in the game if this game stays somewhat close, and then we can see his minutes push closer to 40. So I think he's locked into 30 minutes no matter what the outcome of this game is, which gives you a high floor. And I think 5 assists on that one is pretty strong, especially with the lower line. Mondo, Jaren Jackson under PRA. Yeah, we could take a look at triple PRA down by the bay. What do you say? 31.5. I'm seeing it at 31.5. What are you seeing it for on Prize Picks, Mondo? Just want to make sure that this line is accurate. Cutler said, they said when Stewart and Draymond almost got into that, it was the passing of the torch. So Stewart is the new Draymond. What's going on, Damian? What's up, man? Oh, so Stewart sucker punched him in the tunnel before the game started? Holy shit. I don't know if it's true or not. I heard that Eubanks talks a lot of shit. I mean, most people in the NBA talk a lot of shit. But I think I heard somewhere that guy talks good shit, you know? I don't know if he just got underneath Stewart's skin or something, but probably trying to get into his head before the game start, which is what a lot of people do. Okay, 31. So it's at 31 flat. Okay, so it's getting positive odds to the over at 31.5. 31 is what Mondo says it is over on Prize Picks. So let's look at it at 31.5, because everything that we say for 31.5, it can be applied to 30.5 in terms of the over. Now, if you're looking to go under on this one, he's gone back-to-back games of under 31. Well, he pushed 31 here, right? Goes under against the Rockets. History against the Bucks. No games this season to look at. I think this is the lowest we've seen Jackson's PRA in like a couple, maybe a month. The last time I took the under on his PRA, I think it was at 35.5. So it's come down almost 5 PRA. He is projected for 32.62. Again, like if this game blows out, I mean, he's still playing 30 plus minutes in this game, in these games. His game against the Rockets, where he did not put up a great line, he only played 28 minutes. He got into foul trouble. So is that your narrative? You're thinking that he gets into foul trouble today? If he gets into foul trouble, he obviously can't play extended run. His minutes will be sub 30. And if he's playing sub 30 minutes, then it's real hard for him to average basically 1 PRA per minute if you're only playing 27 minutes. If you think that's the way this goes down, then I think the under on his PRA makes sense. But just know that his PRA is coming in at a lower line on Prize Picks than what the other books have it. It'll get bumped down to 30.5. As if this gets bumped down to 30.5, I would be willing to take a look at the over at that point, because now you're looking at 2 different line adjustments. And if he can stay out of foul trouble, he's in a good spot. His projections also look pretty decent at 32, so basically 33. I'm gonna hold off on that one though, because I want to see if it gets bumped down again. That's just way too low for him. All right. Oh, 31.5. So it's at 31.5. Okay, so yeah, even at 31.5. So back to the original line. Coin flip odds here, nothing crazy here. Yeah, again, so it's at 31.5. The other books have this. 2 of the books have it at 30.5. Okay, at 31.5, I could take the under on this one. Yeah. Because now he needs 32. That's the biggest. I mean, you don't think that's that big of a deal? 0.5. We've all been on the receiving end of the 0.5. So this is the highest line it'll be. If you want to take the under on him, this is the line to do it. It's not going to get any higher. It'll drop a little bit, and then why take the under at the low rate and take an under? Just take it now. It's not going to get any higher. In the event it goes down to 30.5 or something like that, then maybe play the over and leverage it, or look for it on a different site and do some middling between the 2 sites. All right. I can't believe Stewart punched him before. So he didn't even play the game. Was he even active? Was he like, he just punched him in the tunnel? Some hoe ass shit right there, man. I don't care. Like settle that shit outside. Just wait till the game's over. Throw a chair at the bus or something. All right. Are we moving on to the next game? Jazz and Warriors. Are we done with Memphis and Milwaukee? I think we are. So all right. We're not gonna jump format here. We're gonna keep this as consistent as possible. The under on Giannis, over on Dame's 30.5. probably going to be fewer screenshots today. Actually, no, hold on real quick. All right. I know that's a little smaller in terms of the screenshot. It's the only way I can get all this in the same shot. All right. Boom. All right. Moving on. Warriors and Jazz. Let's get this going. So first one I see here is, well, this may not be the first Jazz prop, Warriors prop that has been posted in the chat, but just to keep me from scrolling all the way up, go ahead and repost your play in the chat. That way we can kind of just keep it moving in the same direction. So I'm not scrolling, all over the place. But the first one that I see right now that's on my screen is the John Collins rebound under 9.5. All right. We got Wiggins over first quarter points. I love these first quarter points. Who, if you're on right now, who suggested Wemby's first quarter points yesterday? Because he hit 2 threes in the first quarter, and that was a wrap. First quarter is not on the board right now, unfortunately, Cutler. If you're just joining the stream, welcome to the stream. If you're checking this out on the replay, I really appreciate that. 48 minutes in, 38 viewers on. Hit that like button on your way in. Really appreciate that support. First quarter is not on the board right now, so we'll move on from that. But in case you're interested in playing that, if it does get put on the board, all right. All right. Jim Cutler, or not Jim. Who's Jim Cutler? Just combined the names. Kessler over 9.5 points and assist. Points. Oh no, wait. Points and assists. Okay, rebounds and assists are at 9.5. Points and assists are at 10.5. And I see his rebounds and points right here. So if you want to talk, I tell you what, I'm just gonna throw his rebounds and assists up there, and then we'll go over a few of his props. What's going on, Ink? Good morning to you. Jesus Lopez rebounds. Let's check it out. Jesus, do you want the over on this one? We'll look at it. We'll make a case. Go see Mike. That Trey Man squad ride was fun. Trip Dub obviously didn't hit, but oh yeah, that's right. You had the you had the parlay. But he hit every other combo prop just on his points alone. Vegas had that one way wrong, and I love it. I love that. I love that you love that. And that's, yeah, Trey Man, this is also one of these, don't get used to those lines because after the All-Star break, if Melo comes back, then obviously Trey Man doesn't have the same upside. But even if Melo is still on the shelf, you better believe Trey Man's shit's going to get adjusted. So there's always like the small window where we have to climb in. And then after that, they shut it down. So it's been fun. It's been a fun 3 games for Trey Man, no doubt. Marcus says, playing a lot of first half props today. Yeah, feel free to throw some first half props in here, especially if you feel these games might blow out, or if you feel like the starters might be limited at all today. Ink says Curry over 5.5 3-pointers made. So this is what Prize Picks will do to you. They will either take the original line and create a goblin from it, or create a goblin out of it, and you can play it, but you're going to get a lesser payout for the original line, or they're just going to throw the demon up there, forcing you to take the higher line, which is more risky. So this is a great opportunity for you to go look for this play elsewhere. So if you were looking at Curry's 3-pointers made, over on Jock Market, they're at 5. Curry's threes over on Jock Market are at 5. So that's a great example of, if you're not playing on other sites, then you don't know this. So you're just going to say, well, I guess I have to play the over on that 6.5. Hope he has a good game. Or you can just go play somewhere else. That's my promo code for Jock Market. If you want to play over there, you can. If not, save that promo code for when you decide you might want to join. But Jock Market has Curry's threes at a better line. Also, we talked about Jaren Jackson's PRA. You can find his PRA at 29.5 on Jock Market right now. It is their daily discount. You got about 11 minutes to lock that in. It is like a flash sale on Jock Market. They do 3 of them a day. So this is the first one, I believe, on the day. That's not a bad line. 29.5 is not a bad line. Big difference from 31.5 to 29.5. All right, back to this game. Just took a break. Kerry Young, Andrew Wiggins, 18.5 PRA. Liking the more on this one. All right. We got a lot more plays in this game, for sure. Cutler said, D'Angelo assists every day and Wemby's points every day. D'Angelo's assists look, I mean, he's been dishing out, it's like just high numbers last few games. Looks great. I'm taking Collins double prop on Sleeper. I wonder if Collins is on Jock Market. 9 rebounds for John Collins on Jock Market. Sometimes they have a double prop. Anytime Wemby's on Jock Market for a double, I always grab that one. That one to me feels like he just starts the game with 10 points and 10 rebounds. All right, let's see. Okay, so ROK is looking at the Steph Curry 3-pointers made. 6.5 Curry Demon. I think is risky. 7 threes for him is what he needs today to hit the over on that one. The payout is more, obviously. We can look at his games. Since we're looking at this, we can kind of look at his game log to see how many games he's actually touched, 6 or more. All right, what else? What else we got? ROK says Clay points and rebounds 19.5, please. Since you asked so nicely, we'll throw that in there. Kuminga over 3-pointers made. Is that I feel like that's a demon, right? No. His demon is 1.5. So his OG is 0.5. All right. Shy says Curry has to keep that streak going. Last game before the break. Yeah, now and then he has the shoot off with, who is it? Tarasi? Ionescu? Who is he playing against in that 3-point shootout? I think it's Ionescu. All right. Again, let's head over to props.cash. We'll start looking at these together, and then as you think of Sabrina, Iowa, Iowa Daho. It's Ionescu, but it's a very unique name. I don't know any Ionescus. I don't even know what the where that originates. All right, props.cash. Let's go. We got plays put up on the board. I got my split screen up, so let's go over the plays that we talked about over on Prize Picks, and then as plays, as you think of another play, throw it in the chat, and then we will we'll pull up. So let's look at Curry's threes. That seems to be a play. 7 or more in 4 straight. Fantastic games. Obviously, we know he's capable of hitting this. Best line you're gonna find is at Jock Market at 5. Obviously, if you like it at 5.5, you gotta love it at 5. But the demon prop is what we're looking at. So let's go ahead and bring this up to 6.5. Whoops. So yeah, nothing changes with these last 4 games. He's still gone over this line no matter what the bump is. Against the Jazz head-to-head, he literally just had a game with them 3 days ago and goes for 7 threes. The game before that, 2 years ago, he went for 6 threes. Seems to play the Jazz well over those last 2 games. You're not going to find very good projections in terms of it being in favor of the Demon, but it is favor to go over the original line of 5.5. So if you can get this line at 5.5, that is the best line you're going to find. But obviously with your Demon prop, it is a riskier prop, but it will pay out more. Honestly, if you're going to play a Demon prop, I think the best strategy, if you're going to put that in a 2-pick, make it a 2-pick Demon prop. Because the last thing you want is to throw an OG line in there and that go over, and then your Demon prop doesn't hit. Like, what's the point, right? If you put 2 Demon props in there, you're maximizing your payout. It is super risky, but you already know that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be playing the Demon prop. If you throw this in a flex, then I would say you can build around that Demon prop with 4 other plays that have higher upside. And that way, if that Demon prop doesn't hit, if that's the only one that doesn't hit, you're 2x on a 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6. That's a normal payout. But with Demon, I think it'll boost it up to like 2.5 or maybe 3. So even if it doesn't sweep, you're looking at a better payout. That's how I would use a Demon prop. Or you can just go YOLO and throw 6 fucking Demon props in there. But honestly, you really rather just go play on Sleeper and put in like an 8. Try to go 100x somewhere else with better. It's hard for me to say no to the Demon prop with Curry because of what he's done. It's just obviously it's not sustainable through the rest of the year. 9, 11 threes, but 7 is what he needs today. If you think he keeps the streak going before All-Star break, you could play worse. It's not like he hasn't hit any, and then this line is a 500% jump in what he's done over the last 10 games. This is right around what he's been doing. Warriors look like they're starting to put it together. I don't know what happened, but the young dudes are starting to like play better. Kuminga is taking the next step. Pajemski's looking like a gem. And you got the guys that are supposed to hit, their lines, hitting their lines, and Curry and Green, and even let's take a look at Klay Thompson at points and rebounds for Klay. Wiggins is stepping up too. Wiggins is not sure what's going on in the Bay, but the Warriors look like they're clicking a little bit. So looking at Klay Thompson's 19.5 points and rebounds, he has gone over this in just 2 of his last 5, 4 of his last 10 in his head-to-head games with the Jazz. He is 3 for 3, one being this season. Last game, he goes for 32. If you're looking at his projections, he is projected for right around 20 rebounds. So right there, he's projected like right there. Nothing more, nothing less. How's he getting this done? Points. If you're a Klay Thompson truther, you can run a parlay with his in different slips. You can try to run a parlay because the majority of his props are going to be driven by points. So points and rebounds are at 19.5. His points and assists are at 18.5. His PRA is at 21.5. I mean, is it crazy to think that Klay Thompson can go out there and score 22 points? No. And if he does that, then he goes over all his props with points alone. Kind of similar to what you saw Trey Mann do. Just saying, if you wanted to get creative on a 3-game slate, there are a few different ways you can kind of build around a player. But back to his PR, if that's your cup of tea, looking at his points and rebounds, you obviously know he's going over this. If he goes over this, he's going over this with points. So basically, you're saying, I need Klay Thompson to give me 19 points and an assist, or 19 points and a rebound. Because he's not getting it done with like 10 and 10. If Klay Thompson gets you 2 rebounds, this is a lock. I think he goes over this. I assume his points will be there. We don't need him to get 5 rebounds today. We just need a little extra in case he misses his point prop. At least he'll be there with the rebounds. All right. Kuminga, 3-pointers made. This is not a demon line. This is a normal line for him. It's very hit or miss for him, like he doesn't make a lot of threes. I don't even know what he takes per game. Damn, how far do I have to scroll down? All right, so Kuminga over his last 10 games, he's averaging 2 3-pointers per game. Over his last 5 games, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. I think the average is about the same, like that 1.8 average. So basically, you're asking him to go 50% from 3 today. He's going to take 2 threes. He needs to make one of them. He did it against Utah back on the 12th. It's like, no, yes, no, yes, no. But this is the only game from this season. So he's 100% on the year versus the Jazz with his threes. This is a little risky because that's not really his game. But if he does get he's not afraid to take them. He's just not looking to like take a lot of them. But if he's in the corner and he's got a step on his man and he's got like that open look, I think he takes the shot. It's just a matter of him knocking down 1 out of 2. That's all he needs to do. It is a little risky though. I think this is a little risky. All right. Who else was there? Kessler. Walker Kessler. No. The first one on the board was John Collins. His rebounds. Rebounds for John Collins at 9.5. Minus 136 to the under on this one, 106 to the over. Against the Warriors last game, he grabbed 7 rebounds. I think this is a little high for him. I think the number is based off of his last 10 games, but also I don't think that Walker Kessler is factored into these odds, or excuse me, into the number. Like Walker Kessler being on the floor with John Collins takes a lot of upside away from him. And if they're starting, or if they're just on the court, they're sharing minutes together, then I think 9.5 is a little high. The odds seem to agree that this number is a bit too high. He is projected for roughly 9 rebounds. Even if he does get you 9 rebounds, it's not 10. And that's what you need for him to go over today. So I think this one is in play as well. I think the John Collins rebound line definitely in play. Let's take a look at Walker Kessler, because his lines were weird. So first of all, Walker Kessler's PA is at 10.5, which is in play. How is this being done? So he's really getting it done on points alone. 11 points against Golden State last game. Now his points and rebounds are like almost doubled what his points and assists are. 20 points and rebounds. That's what, 10 rebounds in that last game? 9. So the odds are good for his rebounds. The odds for his PA are about the same. The odds for his PR about the same. And then the odds for his rebounds and assists are about the same. Man, I like all these, to be honest with you. But I think his points and assists offer the most upside because it is the lowest line. And if he's scoring, the problem is he doesn't do a whole lot of assisting. So you almost need him to go over. So you almost need him to go over points and assists with just points. So his point line is 9.5. His points and assists are at 10.5. This is kind of identical to what we saw Zubac yesterday, where his points were so close to his points and assists. And at this point, no pun, I would take the over on his points and assists, because you think he can get this done on points alone. And in the event he doesn't get the points, he should get you 1 assist, maybe 2, and that would get you 11 points and assist. This one makes the most sense to me. If you think he goes out there and pulls down 10 boards, then you are looking at his rebounds and his points and rebounds. But again, he has to score to get this done. I like his points and assists. I think that's a good one. What else? We got Wiggins left. What was it for Wiggins? PRA? We are 1 hour and 10 minutes into the stream. Appreciate y'all being here on the 3-game slate. Hit that like button on your way in. All right, Wiggins last game against the Jazz, 19 for a 34. That's way back in the day. Talk about players stepping up. Talk about the Warriors starting to click a little bit. Wiggins has been on a bit of a hot streak. 5 straight games of 19 or more points, rebounds, and assists. He's averaging 22 over his last 5. He's averaging 21 over his last 10. 2 terrible games versus the Memphis Grizzlies and the Atlanta Hawks. Otherwise, he's giving you 9 or more 80% of the time over his last 10. His projection today is right around 19 points down here. Minus 120 to go over, minus 110 on the under. In terms of all the books, you're getting minus 127 on Caesars. You're getting minus 120 on DraftKings and BetMGM. Points are not pulling in the best odds. Points and assists look pretty good, although the odds do not look great. His game logs do look good, and against the Jazz, he did pull down. He did provide 17 points and assists. I think PRA is in play. I don't mind his points and assists today. I don't know if he has a 3-pointer line, a 3-point prop made. But even though the odds are in, I mean, they're heavy under here. 3 games over his last 5 or 2 or more 3-pointers made. Back-to-back games of 2 or more 3-pointers made. And against the Jazz, he did have 3. So shooting well against the Jazz. PRA, that's the best line for him. And then his PA, I wouldn't mind to look at that. But if you like his PRA, you like his points, you could take a look at his 3-pointers made. This has to be a demon prop for him because at minus 196 odds for Andrew Wiggins, it is a demon prop. So I would be interested in that one for a demon prop. Now, he went 3 for 3 from 3-point land. So 50% over his last 10. He is a Is he averaging 50% over his last 10 games? That's pretty strong. I think his demon prop is kind of a fun 3-pointer line if you want to risk that one. All right. You know what? I realized in looking at the previous that Brook Lopez rebounds were in there. I don't know if we looked at his rebounds when we were looking at the Grizzlies and Bucks. If you were the one that asked about his rebounds, we're going to look at it right now. So his rebounds are sitting at 5 right now over on Prize Picks. So that's a flat number. He is capable of big rebounding effort, and then he is also capable of just not doing shit. Over his last 5 games, he does have a 33% hit rate with 2 pushes in there. So basically how that works is they take these games out and you're left with 3 games. And out of those 3 games, he's gone over once. So that's 33%. Over his last 10 games, he has a 50% hit rate. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You take those 2 games out, that leaves you 8. 4 out of 8 is 50%. So those pushes don't count towards the average. They just remove them. He's projected for 6 rebounds today. So if you're following projections, then you like that one. FanDuel, well, all these have the juice heavy under. FanDuel's the only one with coin flip odds. So like if we pull up DraftKings odds right now, minus 140 to go under 5.5. Basically, they're not saying that he's only going to get 5. They're saying that he's not going to get 6. You're asking yourself, the odds of him getting 6 rebounds, not that great. The odds of him getting 5 rebounds, better. So I think it's in play because it's at a lower line. But again, Lopez, he's not guaranteed to go out there and crash the glass. It's just not really his game. Just realized I didn't have my screen on. My bad. Looking at this one again. So Lopez, not the best odds to get 6. The odds to get 5 are better. He's pushed in the last 2 pushes, 1 over in his last 5, 2 unders. The odds are in heavy favor of the under at 5.5. So at 5, you're getting a better line. I don't hate that one. I feel like if you're playing rebound props, I think there are better ones out there. But he is capable of this, and he's also capable of getting 2 rebounds. You want to talk about 7 feet for what? You want to throw Nick Richards, Brooke Lopez in the 7 feet for what category? There you go. All right, so back over to Prize Picks. Here's what we covered so far in this game. I'm gonna make sure. D Johnson, what's going on? Good morning. It says Walker Kessler versus the Warriors. PA 10.5 PR. Yeah, we like him today. His PA looks real good. He might be at the 3-point line guarding Jaren's chucking ass at center. Yeah. So listen, like if that's the case, then he's getting pulled away from the rim and the paint. Then it's like, who's grabbing all the boards? Is it Giannis? I mean, if Jaren Jackson's making his 3-pointers, then nobody's grabbing those boards. Oh, that's right. Is who's on a nice little win streak here? Mondo just brought this up in the chat, but Prize Picks has that win and you're in or win and you stay or whatever shit. Yeah, you just got to win a slip every single day. That's it. It could be a 2-pick power, it could be whatever. Yeah, I think most of us are alive for this one. We all should be alive for this one. We're all hitting something every day. Clay ain't trying to get traded, so they That's a good one. Let's see. Looks like I did miss a few while we were breaking down those other ones. Let's see. Edward, what's going on? Good morning. I don't think Colin Sexton's at 7.5 anymore. I think he got bumped. He definitely got bumped up. And did he get bumped back down? Yeah, he got bumped up to 8. You want to take a look at it at 8? We can do that. 60 says, take a look at Walker Kessler under 3.5 blocks and steals. All right. Remember, we got one more game to go here. So we'll do a few more for this game, and then we'll move on to Portland and Minnesota. Let's take a look at Walker Kessler's blocks and steals today. Under 3.5. Against the Warriors, yeah, he put up 6. And they got this nice little no yes trend going here. This one could be juiced a little bit based off his last game against the Warriors. And so, I don't know what it was last game. If I don't know if it was at 3.5 last game. It may have been 2.5. At 2.5, this looks really good. At 3.5, he needs 4. That's Wemby. That's Wemby shit. But last season, Walker Kessler, this is what he did. I mean, he was getting 7 blocks a game and shit. So he is capable of this. But this honestly could be a case of just this recency bias, and it's just a little juice a little too high. Because on the season, he is averaging 3.3. But again, he missed a lot of time. Factor all that stuff in. You're not the same player when you come back from injury, all that, whatever. Over his last 15 games, I think that's a more fair sample size to look at. So over his last 15 games, basically since mid-January, a month ago, over the last month, Walker Kessler is averaging 3.5 blocks and steals. You see, he has that 6 block steals upside. Yeah, I don't mind that one. The under on that one. It's hard. 3.5 blocks and steals is. I know some players make it look really easy, but a lot has to go right to get those blocks and steals, and you got to do it without fouling people. So you start getting too aggressive and fouling people, and you're on the bench and definitely not getting any blocks and steals on the bench. Colin Sexton's rebounds and assists, that got bumped up to 8. I was looking at that really early this morning, and I told myself we'll come back to it. And when I came back to it, Prize Picks had bumped it up to 8. But over his last 15 games, 73% hit rate. Over his last 5 games, this is more recent, he only has 2 games where he's gone over, 3 games where he's gone well under. But one of those games was against the Warriors with 11 rebounds and assists. Over his last 10 games, the last 10 and 15 games look better than the last 5. His numbers against the Warriors, that one game really pads the stats a little bit. The other 3 games came back in 2022. Who did he play for in 2022? Was it the Cavs? You're getting really good odds at minus 140, 7.5 rebounds and assists. His 7, there is no rebound. I was just looking at Jock Market. Yeah, the only thing on Jock Market are his he has his assist line at 5 on Jock Market. Yeah. If you want to play his rebounds and assists, you'll have to look other places. But at 8, that's what it is on Prize Picks. You can still take a shot at it. Just know that he needs 9 to get the over. I can't imagine the odds being that much different. If there were 140, now the line's been moved to 8. So yeah, he needs, well, that doesn't really help us. That doesn't help us either. I don't know what his odds are. Getting great odds at 7.5 at minus 140. Been bumped up to 8. I still think it's in play, but just know he needs 9. Curry's on sleeper at 4.5 3-pointers made. That's a pretty good line. Let's see. Anything else? Cutler says Klay Thompson 26.5 fantasies darts of the day. I like that. Edward, DeAndre Ayton PR over 24.5. All right, let's start talking about Minnesota and Portland. Oh, wait, real quick. I just saw D says that Colin Sexton's 3 1.5 looks like candy. See, now I want some damn candy. Top 5 candies. I'm not like into like candy bars. I like the Willy Wonka lines. I like Runts, Nerds, Sweet Tarts, Lemon Heads. Lemon Heads are my shit, man. See, now I want some damn candy. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, D. Let's take a look at his 3-pointers made. All right. So over his last 10 games, he's gone over this line in 8 out of 10. He's averaging 2 over his last 10 and 5 games and 15 games. So it's one thing to look at. It's one thing to look at 5 game logs and say, hey, this player is like good or bad. Do take it a step further and look at the 10, look at the 15. Things fluctuate during the season. So you have the season average, sure, but like things change, roles change, minutes change. And so if you notice a trend like over the last 10 and 15 games, that's more recent. That's closer to today versus beginning of the season started in October. And when you see the 15 game logs also line up with what you're looking at for the 5 and 10 game logs, I mean, that's a pretty solid look at his production there. You're right, it does look like candy. It looks like a box of lemon heads. I like this one. For sure. All right. Kessler got bumped up to 10 rebounds and assists. That's okay. We weren't looking at his rebounds and assists. We were looking at his points and assists. Kessler's fantasy score, 31. I did miss it. I didn't even see you put that in there. I just didn't scroll enough. If you're interested in Kessler's rebounds, if you're interested in Kessler's, what the fuck is Kessler? Oh, because he doesn't shoot threes, so he's not there. There you go. If you're interested in Walker Kessler's fantasy score, let's build it out. So odds have him going over 9.5 points. Let's say this is a very conservative build. Let's say he goes out and gets you 10 points. Let's say he goes out and pulls down 9 rebounds. That's 11.2. All right, that's 21.2. Let's say he goes out there and gets you 1 assist. That's 22.7. Now he needs 10 more points. 22 points. He goes out and gets you 3 blocks and steals. 22 plus 9. That's 31.7. 31.7 fantasy points for Walker Kessler. Let's take out turnovers. Turns the ball over 1 time. So on a very conservative build where he barely goes over his rebounds and points, barely goes over his assists, he's getting you 30.7 fantasy points. Now, if you feel like he goes out and gets you 11 rebounds and 11 points, you just add 2.2 more points, and that's 32, and the turnovers are already factored in. It's not too far away from the over with a conservative approach. So I think that one's in play. You can do this a few different ways. I just went with the odds. You can also look at his projections. You can pull up projections anywhere, and you can just do some of this math yourself. Like, this is actually going to come in lower. 10 plus 10 is 20. 21 and a half. Plus 9 is 30. 29. So we did it a conservative way. Anywhere between 29 and 30 seems to be a nice floor. And then he can always pop off and give you 12 points. Maybe he does go over blocks and steals. Maybe he doesn't turn the ball over at all, and he keeps all his fantasy production. All right. Henry Davis, what's going on, man? Welcome in. It says Thompson fantasy score under. What's his fantasy score? Should be like 26. Yeah, 26 and a half. So taking the under on his fantasy, it does contradict if you want to take the over. So if you're looking at taking the over on Klay Thompson's points and assists, then you're probably not going to take an under on his fantasy. But if you're on the opposite side where you feel like, no, he's going over today, then you can look at taking the under on his fantasy score. So if he goes out and gets you 16 points, 4 rebounds, That's 20.8. 2 assists. That's 23.8. 1 steal in blocks. That's 26.8. And he turns the ball over 1 time. That's 25.8. Based off that conservative build, yeah, he's going under for sure. Now, if Klay Thompson comes out and scores 21 points, he's going over fantasy score. So I think it really just boils down to whether his shot falls or not. If he's not hitting his shot, then there's no way he's going over fantasy score. And he'll actually probably turn the ball over a few extra times because he's struggling, he's frustrated, and he's throwing a tantrum and shit. And he definitely ain't going over fantasy score. So you have 2 different ways to look at this. If you like the over on his points and assists, points and rebounds, then you probably like the over on his fantasy points because they all correlate. Klay Thompson is not one of those guys that can not have a good night but still go over fantasy score. Like, he needs his points to go over a lot of his props. So you're either going over or under on pretty much everything for him. I don't think that you can find like the boat. I don't think you can find like the over and under and like leverage that. All right, let's do this. Let's talk about Portland and Minnesota. I'm not going to pull up prize picks. Let's just start going through props.cash. Throw them in the chat. Let's knock these out. I'm going to try to scroll up and see if I can find where the Minnesota and Portland talk began. All right. So DeAndre Ayton. Yes. DeAndre Ayton. Now, I like DeAndre Ayton's PRA. It was at 26.5 on prize picks. Let's pull up a few of his lines. Oh, got bumped down to 25.5. Hell yeah. I'm not even scared off by that because Jock Market had his PRA at 25.5. It opened. Look, it opened at 25.5. Prize Picks had it at 26.5. So this is not one of those things where too many people were taking the under and now they got to like adjust their lines. They tried to test that shit. Based off his last 3 games, Prize Picks opened it up at 26. They tested it. They were wanting to see who was taking that bait. I liked it at 26.5. But nobody was taking the bait, or very few were taking the bait. So now they're bringing it down to 25.5. Now where it is definitely in play. If you just wait it out a little bit, sometimes things do move. So 25.5 is his PRA. He's gone over this in 3 straight games. Last game against Minnesota, he absolutely had a fantastic game. Looking at his last 15, he has a 67% hit rate. Looking at his last 5, these are most recent games. He's 4 out of 5. He's averaging 32 in those games. What a bad game against Denver. Really fucked up what otherwise is a flawless 5-game game log here. We talk about Minnesota's defense being good on paper. We talk about these teams being good on paper, but they still have to play the games. DeAndre Ayton gives 2 shits about your defense being good on paper because he went out there and put 39 PRA on you. His projections look very, very good. Now his PRA is bumped up because last game it was 23.5, and now they bumped it up to 25.5. I really like this spot for DeAndre Ayton. What about his PR? 24.5. At this pace, I would just play his PRA because it gives you the more upside. It gives you more upside and it's only 1 higher. At 26.5, I was like, oh, maybe his PR is in play over his PRA. PRA looks good though. PR looks good. Same logic applies here. All these numbers are going to be identical because the majority of his numbers are points and rebounds. You're still getting good projections here. This is only separated by 1 number. if you like his points and rebounds, then you probably like him to get a double-double. If you can find a double-double prop for him out there in the market, you probably want to take the over 0.5 double-doubles for him. I just like this spot for him. I don't want to get too excited about shit, but I think this is a good spot for him. All right, let's see. What else? What else? Kessler. Yeah, Kessler's rebounds and assists got bumped. That's what I saw. What? What? No, he didn't. Oh. Cutler. I read Prize Picks just dropped Curry over 12 3-pointers made. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Take the under on that shit. I don't care how great Curry is. He's not hitting 13 threes today. 3 points attempted. Okay. I was like, that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the easiest under of the day. I don't care how great Curry is. 13 threes in a game. That's ridiculous. I'm glad I read that. What do you think of Edwards' points and Simon's points? So there's Curry's 3 points attempted right there. Anthony Edwards, the almost twins, Anthony and Anthony. So Edwards points at 26.5. Let's clear out. Actually, let's I got to screenshot these. All right. Edwards points. What do I think? I think that I got a bad read on his points last game because I took the under on his PRA two or three games ago, and he crushed that. And then the next game, the juice was heavy on the under 26.5 points because against Portland, because the I guess the logic there was he wouldn't need to score many points because they should just blow this team out the water, and he scored like 30. But we could take a look at those. Grant over points, says ROK. He says he already played it. We'll look at it. So I love these breakdowns. Curry over 12 3-pointers in the last game versus Utah and is 5 of 5 in back-to-back games with Draymond. Draymond's huge reason why this team is starting to click. It's amazing what happens when you're not suspended and you don't kick people in the throat every game. You're actually a really good team. 47 people on the stream. Appreciate y'all being here an hour and 39 minutes into the stream. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Clay over field goal attempted 14, cleared it. 4 or 5 back-to-back with Draymond correlates with Curry over 3 points, surprisingly. Edwards is questionable. That's right. He is actually the only name I'm seeing on the injury list. Anthony Edwards is the injury list today. Now, Middleton's been ruled out and Malcolm Brogdon has been ruled out. If Malcolm Brogdon being ruled out in Portland moves the needle for you on anything for Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, whoever, now's the time to pounce. What's going on, Encore? Good morning, everyone. Sorry, was dumping Nicola in the trash. Oh, he's another turd, right? We didn't talk about him on the stream yesterday, but boy, what a just pedestrian-like game for him. Joker was a joke. Man, no joke. No joke. Oh, the puns keep coming. The puns keep coming. All right. Let's see. What do we have on the board? Yeah, let's talk about these Blazers. Grant, Anthony, and then we have Ant on the other side. Let's take a look at Jeremy Grant. If you're just joining the stream, we are taking a game by game approach. We are on the final game of the slate. We have covered, I don't know how many player props, a lot. Screenshotting the player props that we've broken down. I'll throw them in the Discord. So if you've missed any portion of the live stream, you can at least see what we talked about. All player props are broken down using props.cash. These are not my guess. These are not my gut instincts. These are just backed up by data and research. So if you see them in the Discord, they've been thoroughly ran through the ringer under the microscope. So you can feel good about taking some of those. Those aren't just bullshit plays. All right, Jeremy Grant, 20.5 points. Is it 20.5 or 20? 20 even. Okay, so at 20 points, Jeremy Grant has gone over this in 3 of his last 5 games. When we widen out, we see that he's gone over this in 50%. And when we widen out, we see that he has gone over this in 53%. So his hit rates are pretty much the same, between 50 and 60%. On the season, Jeremy Grant is a 22 points per game player. When we remove Malcolm Brogdon from the lineup, we just got word. Well, I just see it right now that Middleton is ruled out and Malcolm Brogdon is ruled out. Didn't we say somebody was sitting in Milwaukee? I thought maybe Brook Lopez or did I say Middleton? I said somebody was going to sit in Milwaukee. All right, so when we factor out Malcolm Brogdon, doesn't really move the needle for him at all. Like, he's still in that 50% range over the last 10, 15 games. So that is good to know. Sometimes when a player is not in, it really messes up everybody's production. So without Brogdon, it doesn't really make a big difference. I mean, it's off by 1 point. He's only averaging 20 versus 21. In games versus the Timberwolves, he's had some bad games. 2 games back-to-back of 13 or less. When we factor out Brogdon, it's going to chop this down. So 4 games played this season. No. I'm sorry. 4 games played without Brogdon. But that doesn't really mean anything because this is Brogdon's first season in Portland. So this doesn't correlate. Projected for 22 points. He's getting you, 30 minutes? He's playing huge minutes, 45, 41, 34. Even when he's playing like shit, he's playing a lot of minutes. So 35 minutes. So if he doesn't hit this, it's not out of him being off the floor. He's getting his minutes. If we take... Oh, Brogdon is out on this one. So games played without Brogdon, he's averaging in the 30s. Games played with Brogdon, he's averaging in the 30s. Doesn't matter. Yeah, Brogdon doesn't really hurt him or help him. So I think you can feel confident taking the over on him. Let's take a look at Anthony Simons. So over his last 10 games, Anthony Simons has had better results, better than Grant. 24 in his last 10, 26 in his last 5, and 22 in his last 15. So what this is showing us is that over the last 15, he's basically telling us that he's starting to warm up a little bit, right? It's getting better as we narrow it down. So it's getting better from 22, 24, 26. So over his last 5 games, great sample size here. Last game against Minnesota, I don't know if he went over points in this game because I don't know what his point line was, but at this line, he did not hit 21, let alone 22. He's projected for Literally, he's projected for the line. 21 and a half is his projection. So you got to round that up. This is a coin flip. Coin flip odds, coin flip projections. You're gonna have to make a decision on him if you feel like he can get you that one extra point today. Now, maybe it changes when Brogdon's not in for Anthony Simons. Over his last 15 games played without Brogdon, how many are this season? Right here. So this game right here, this 30. So 15 games doesn't look like anything to us. Let's narrow it down. Over his last 10 games played without Malcolm Brogdon, from the Dallas game on as this year, 6 out of 8 games he's gone over this line. And then over his last 5 games played without Malcolm Brogdon this season, I mean, he does benefit. That's the Zach LaVine effect. He does benefit without Brogdon there. So it's not bad for him. Anthony Edwards. Nope. Yep. I wish Anthony Edwards points were at 21 and a half. So 26 and a half. No injury news coming out of Minnesota. He is the injury news coming out of Minnesota. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say if Anthony Edwards is ruled out, he is not going over his point prop today. That's my hot take. But if he's ruled in 3 out of his last 5 over his last 10 games, 27 points. Last game against Portland. Let's take the under on Anthony Edwards points at 26 and a half, says all the sharp people in the industry, and he just goes out there and scores 40. Yeah, let's take the under on his points. So that one didn't work out for those who took the under last game. But what happened last game doesn't mean it'll happen again. But we don't need him to score 40. If you think he scores 27, which he can basically do any game he wants, this is a great spot for him. He is projected for 29 points, which I think is a pretty fair projection for him. Sometimes you see projections and they're a little off. I think 29 points from Anthony Edwards is kind of what you expect him to do. I think this one's in play. This game stays close enough and we see full run. Anthony Edwards is also on record. He is talking shit about players who sit out games, nights off, who rest, load management and all this stuff. He's on record talking shit about those kind of guys. So if this dude can suit up and play, he's playing his full run. I cannot see him taking it easy out there. So if he's in, I think he's a full go. All right. These guys are playing like going on vacation. The Hawks play like they're going on. They're fucking flying south for the winter and shit. I'm already locking in. I saw that one. Let's see. Cutler says Jeremy Grant under 6.5 rebounds and assists, minus 145. But Prize Picks is afraid to put it up. Yeah. Great example of how Prize Picks will not give you the best props. What you see is not all that there is. So what you see on Prize Picks is not, it's like going to a buffet and like you walk in and you're like, this is it. And then you go to the other room. You're like, oh shit, there's more. Yeah. The other room is the other pick'em sites. Prize Picks just throws out like chicken and rice. And you're like, this is a shitty buffet. You open up the next room. You're like, oh, General Tso's chicken. Joseph said he locked in Giannis's under 8 assists. That's a strong one. What about Dame's assist prop? I'm gonna hold off on that one. See, we have any more questions from this game here? If not, then we can circle back and we can start getting our plays of the day in as we are approaching the nearing the end of today's stream. Let's see. We have Anthony Simons over 2.5 turnovers, over in 7 of his last 8. Without Brogdon, plus 2 games versus the Wolves, had 3 turnovers. So We talked about the upside without Brogdon for Anthony Simons points, but also without Brogdon, it's one less one less point on the floor, one less body to handle the ball. And so if that puts the ball in Anthony Simons' hands a little bit more, where the fuck is Brogdon? Then we already know like increased usage often leads to increased turnover opportunities. So when we take a look at his turnovers over the last 10 games played without Malcolm Brogdon, now again we're only focusing from Dallas on, he has averaged basically 3. He's giving you 3 or more turnovers in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of his 8 games. You're exactly right. And in that last game, he had 3. So now these odds, I don't think these odds are factoring in Brogdon because the Brogdon news broke later in the morning. These odds are from earlier today. So I don't think these odds are 100% accurate. So I think, yeah, that's a good find. Turnovers are right at the line, 2.5. So you need him to give you 3 turnovers today. That's not a bad call. We are attacking Simons today. Under 5.5 assists. Score 30 points, but turn the ball over 10 times and don't dish any assists, and then we're all happy. He's only gone over 2 games in his last 8 without Brogdon, or 3 out of his last 8. Other games he's 5 or less. Last game against the Wolves, he did end at 5. Getting good odds to the under on this one as well. Simon says take the under. Damn, the puns are coming, man. This is a good day for puns. I need to write these down. All right, let's look at Green first half points. Let's work back a little bit. And then again, get the plays of the day in there. I got one on the board already. Vince Williams assist. Draymond Green first half points. Those are his assists. I was like, wow, those are terrible game logs. Okay, so if you're getting his points at 4.5, this is a strong number. Based off his game logs, he's gone over 3 of his last 4. He's gone over 8 of his last 10. These are really strong numbers for Draymond. He is projected for 10 points, so 4.5 is under that 5 mark, which is like the middle point of 10. So this is kind of a value play. If you're playing the over on this one, it's playable up to 5, but 4.5 is that 0.5 makes a huge difference. So I think this is in play. Depends on which Dre comes to play. That's true. I mean, isn't that the case for a lot of players, but especially for Draymond Green? Maybe somebody needs to punch him in the face in the tunnel and get him going. Maybe he just needs to get that shit out the way, and then he comes out like a beast, you know? The Warriors should hire Isaiah Stewart to just like punch people in the face to get them all game ready. All right. I think we're good with this game. So play of the day. So this is what I got so far. We got Vince Williams assist. I'm gonna put DeAndre Ayton in there. I was on board with his points and rebounds, and then we saw the drop in his PRA, and I like that. So that's gonna be my play of the day. What else we got for plays of the day? All right. So yesterday's plays of the day, while you are all thinking about who your play of the day is, so Jalen did go over his dunks. So that maxi point prop, he did he finish with 28? 30. Siakam goes over his OG. He does not go over Demon. Mobley, another weak ass game from Mobley. Zubac goes over PA. We know Jalen goes over dunks. Nick Richards, 7 feet for what? Wemby smashes first quarter points. I need to change that date on this recap. It was the 14th. Trae Young, weak ass game from Trae Young, and then Paul George. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 5 yesterday with players of the day. Very close. Like Siakam was what, 2 points away from going over that demon line. I mean, we had some really good plays on this list yesterday. Can't do anything about players just not showing up. Trae Young didn't show up. Evan Mobley didn't show up. None of these plays that we talk about as our plays of the day are bad plays. None of them are just dumbass plays. These are all really good plays. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So, I mean, yesterday was a 5 and 5 day. Not the worst, not the best. But again, we don't really have a lot of losing days with our players of the day. I mean, 4 out of 5 days, we're on the positive side of these plays. All right, let's see. We got John Collins under his rebound prop. That's ROK. So let's put in John Collins under 9.5 rebounds. We got Clay. Cutler is going with Clay as his play of the day, over 14 field goals attempted. DeMar DeRozan showed up. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Also, Mel played Kobe White's rebounds and assists, and then had like a panic attack when it was found out that the Cavs were playing the Bulls and didn't know if that was a good pick or not. It was a good pick. We talked about that. We broke it down yesterday. The matchup wasn't great on paper, but Kobe White finishes with 11 rebounds and assists. So you could have even taken it at the bump at 10 and he goes over. So all around, great performance from him. 32, 7, and 4. Hey, Vucevic with that illustrious triple single. Unlike Ben Simmons, Vucevic did not go over any of his goddamn lines yesterday. All right, so we got Vince Williams over his assists, DeAndre Ayton over his PRA, John Collins under his 9.5 rebounds, Klay Thompson over 14 masterclass. Yeah, 14 field goals attempted. I like that Anthony Simons turnover prop. I'm going to put that on as a play of the day because I think that might be a little bit underlooked considering that Brogdon's out, and you should see more usage from Simons. You should see that continue. We looked at his game logs. He's averaging basically 3 in those games. So I think that one's a pretty strong play. All right. Any other plays of the day? I'm gonna add the Andrew Wiggins 3-pointers made. That's a demon. But he's averaging 3 against the Jazz, and he is shooting the ball a lot better over his last 5 games. So willing to risk taking the over on that one. I think that one's lining up really well. Cutler says Wiggins over 3 points in the first quarter. I didn't get a chance to look at that. Oh, now they got the first quarter play up there. Okay. All right. Man, my dates are all wrong on these slides. Let's take a quick look at Wiggins' first quarter points. How cool would it be if you take the over on his demon 3-pointers at 1.5, then you also take the over on his first quarter points at 3, and he knocks down a 3 in the first quarter, and he's halfway there to his demon threes. So it's at 3.5 on props.cash, but if you're getting it at 3 on Prize Picks, then this is a push or better. He's pushed or gone over in 8 of his last 10 games against the Jazz. He is doubling up his first quarter point prop in those games. And then in terms of his threes in the first quarter, look at that shit. That could actually happen. That blueprint that I laid out could actually happen today if you take the over on threes and take the over on first quarter. Players of the day, just because it correlates really well with his 3-pointers. 3 first quarter points. All right. What do you think of Giannis's 4 rebounds first quarter? I don't know. So over his last 10 games, it's at 4, not 3.5, or it's at 3.5, and you're already calling it that he needs 4. So yeah, okay. So he's at 3.5 on Prize Picks, so he needs 4. All right, cool. So he's gone over this in 3 straight games, 4 out of his last 5, 6 out of his last 10. The only game to look at against the Grizzlies is from 2022, so that's irrelevant. I mean, if you're taking the under on his rebound prop, then you're definitely not taking the over on first quarter, because you definitely don't want him to have a strong first quarter with his rebounds. But if you're not taking any of his full game props, or if you're not taking the under on any of his full game props, I think this one's in play. It is very possible that Giannis stays under 13 rebounds today and grabs you 4 in the first quarter. It's very easy for us to say this person played in the first quarter and did this, and then you multiply it by 4. But we all know that is not how things work out. You don't duplicate the quarter. It doesn't work out like that. Rotation, minutes, games change quarter to quarter. So it varies. So Giannis can come out there and give you 4 rebounds in the first quarter. He come out there and get you another 3 in the second quarter. That's 7. He comes out there and gets you 3 in the third quarter. That's 10. And then comes out there and gets you. You know why this looks this bad? Is it because he's not seeing a lot of run in the fourth quarter? Are his minutes limited in the fourth quarter? Are these blowouts? We got to look into that. But look how much that dips in the fourth quarter. So he's not averaging 4 rebounds per quarter. He's averaging roughly 3.5, 1 through 3, and then it just drops off to nothing. So yeah, now it looks like it is possible that he can get you 4 rebounds in the first quarter and still not go over his RA or his rebound at 12.5. I don't think that's a bad play. Cutler says, reminds me of Caruso, how you can get that first quarter three and maybe a three in the third or fourth. Caruso first quarter threes and fourth quarter threes, when they play and his fourth quarter prop is on the board and it's at 0.5, I think his points are like at 2.5 in the fourth quarter, because he starts the fourth quarter. He starts the fourth and closes the game. So he's bookending that. He's in for like 5 minutes, he sits for 4, and he's in for the rest of the game. But he opens up the first quarter, or he opens up the fourth quarter on the floor, and he's shooting. Because there's no DeRozan, there's no Ayo, there's no well, maybe Ayo, but there's no Kobe White. So he's shooting. 2.5 is easy. But yeah, Giannis's rebounds first quarter, I don't mind that. That's an interesting one. I've never looked at his quarter by quarter rebounds. All right. I think that is going to do it. We got quite a few plays on the board for plays of the day. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the board. We got some nice correlation going on here. I'm going to throw the Wiggins. Oh, my friend, Wiggins is not on the board on Prize Picks. First quarter points. We made a case for him, but he's not on the board for first quarter points. Wiggins, just Kuminga, Clay, and Curry. Damn, that was a good one too. We still made a good case for him. So if you can find his point somewhere else, that's definitely worth a look. Let's throw Simon's turnovers in there, and let's throw the Clay field goal attempts in here as well as a play, because we talked about that, and I want to get a screenshot of that one. And who else was there? Who else was there? Oh. I'll take full responsibility with Wiggins. Nobody listed them as the play of the day, but I just like the upside with that one, and I kind of talked myself into it. So we'll throw these in the Discord. And I think that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. I think that is a wrap. No matter how many games we have on the slate, we'll always find a way to fill up the hours as we talk about player props, as we talk about games, breaking it down. All right, so this is the last slate of games before the All-Star break. So got to figure out what we're doing for the next week, how we're filling up time. I'll put some thought into it. If you guys have any suggestions on that, throw them in the Discord. Suggest something in the Discord, and we'll see what we can come up with. But no NBA for a week. Tomorrow is Protected Play Flex Friday on Prize Picks. I don't know how the fuck we're building out a slip. Esports, Australian basketball, darts. What are we doing? We'll figure it out. But I appreciate y'all being here on this Thursday morning. We went over all the games. We talked about all the player props. Quite a few plays of the day. 42 of you still watching the stream. I appreciate that. Even if you just have it playing in the background, I'll take it. Hit that like button if you haven't hit it already on your way out. It means a ton, helping this channel get bigger every single day. And as I always say, no matter who you follow, I hope all your player props respect the damn coin. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. talking player props, hopefully talking profit, hopefully talking about some winning slips. And we'll be talking building out some slips for our Protected Play Again, don't know how we're going to do it, but we'll figure it out. Best of luck to you all. And until tomorrow's live stream, Chavez is out.